Hey everyone, and welcome to another rendition of BonaFide Fridays with our community members. I'm standing with Brian Jones, who's the community engagement manager of Every Meal, and we're actually located in their primary location in Roseville, Minnesota. Brian, thanks so much for taking the time to be with me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that you guys have always been called Every Meal.
Correct.
It used to be called the Sheridan Story. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
And that was actually a recent change. Could you say a little bit more about why that is or how that happened?
Yeah, so we were named after Sheridan Elementary School, which is just a few miles away. And the principal at Sheridan Elementary School noticed that kids were hoarding food on Fridays because they were hungry on the weekends. And so the principal reached out to a church, Mill City Church, that met in that school and said, "Can you help?" And the church stepped up and said, "Yeah, we will help." And so that was the name. So years passed since then. We discovered, had no idea who the school was named after. It turned out it was named after a man who we did not want to be associated with, that said horrible things about indigenous peoples. And so we didn't want that to be a barrier to, and so we made a decision quickly to change our name. Well, and even though the impetus for that was negative, the good news is it's our 10th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Right, so it was a good opportunity to look into the next 10 years, which is our mission that every child should have every meal that they need. So that's our renaming.
With kind of the idea of partnerships, what are some kind of organizations or partnerships that you guys have with the community, and how does that impact what you're doing?
Yeah, gosh, the better question is, who don't we partner with? And so that's just a core of what we do. So our mission is to serve kids through community and school partnerships. And so we're in 300 plus schools, helping kids for those gaps, the weekends, the winter break, the summers, when the school lunch doesn't help them. And so we fill those gaps through community and school partnerships. So all those schools have a sponsor, community sponsor. So about 80% of them are churches. So a lot of big-hearted people we want to serve. There's small businesses, there's large businesses, and that partnership, that sponsorship looks as financial. So that's an element of it, like help buy the food for the kids, but also volunteering.
Yeah.
And so pre-COVID times, it was putting a bag of food in a backpack.
Okay, yeah.
Post-COVID times, as with everyone, you get creative and you make it work the best you can. But it's that financial sponsorship plus that volunteering to build that relationship between that community organization and the school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so our focus is on the gaps, so the food gaps. So the weekends, the Christmas break, the summer break when kids don't have access to school lunch and breakfast. And so that's our core programming. But we also have supplemental programming. And so this big refrigerator represents that. And so we have partnerships with several breweries, and then we have our own farm outside. So fresh produce is something that we have as supplemental programming. And then obviously COVID has challenged everyone, right? And so we have also some experimental program that we're trying things to try to better meet the needs of students and their families.
Absolutely. Now, if folks wanted to get involved or volunteer in any way, what are some options for that?
Yeah, well, you're looking at it. This is one way. So our core is the gap, the weekend gap, and the best way that we do that is our food bags, and we have 5 bags. We have Eastern Africa, Eastern Asia, Hispanic, General, and Highly Mobile. And Highly Mobile is the bag that we use if the family's also struggling with housing insecurity. Maybe and so that's the one where they're a little more pop-top, ready to eat. But our other bags are meant to serve a family. And so, a bag of black beans that an entire family can prepare together, and it serves the entire family. In our bags, we work really hard to get the most delicious and most nutritious that we can, and we're able to buy it in bulk, so we're able to really stretch $1, which is great. But to build those bags, that's what we do here.
Okay, so this is the packing.
This is the packing floor. Now, pre-COVID, we would pack people in, right? But post-COVID, you see that we have it so that folks can spread out, and we'll have 2 lines going at a time, so we can still have groups and still feel like we're being safe for everyone. And it's great. It's assembly line. You go down, you build the bags. The bags are put on the pallet and taped up, and when it's done, you honk when we get and woo, we got an entire pallet.
Yeah.
And so it's great. It's a lot of fun for groups. Sometimes individuals will come together. You go to volunteer.everymill.org, and Holly, our volunteer coordinator, can help set this up. Businesses come through.
Oh man,
they'll want to do a quarterly or a monthly team building event and serve the community. And so this is a lot of fun. And so this is where the bags are built. And then the trucks send them out to all the schools and serve the kids. And with COVID, the need's been greater than ever. I think what a lot of folks have learned is there's a lot of folks that are just living right on the edge. And this season has really made it difficult. And so we're working hard, which is particularly difficult because schools are struggling. Poor school administrators, I think, are working so hard. Many of our partners are churches who are struggling, not always open as well. But I think what we've seen, despite the increase in need, despite the difficulties, is people want to help. So we've seen this huge outpouring of folks like, what can I do to help? And I think there's something profoundly wonderful about, okay, like we can help a hungry kid. Like that's something that we all can rally around. So we're, despite the increase in need, we're thankful, and we're grateful that we can still operate and get the food out the door to the kids who need it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing.
Absolutely.